So the next article I wanted to look at is titled, Justice Nominee Promises She'll Divest Her Stake in Avantor. This is on Bloomberg. This is an unusual article. It's not really a religious article, but it's a case study in propaganda, and I thought it would be an interesting read. So let's start reading it, and I'll get into why this is important in a second. This was by Stephen T. Dennis, FYI. President Joe Biden's nominee for a top post at the Justice Department intends to sell her remaining $14.5 million stake in a company her father chairs amid questioning about a report the company sold chemicals diverted by Mexican drug cartels to make heroin. Vanita Gupta made the pledge in written responses to questions from Senator Chuck Grassley, an Iowa Republican, of course, as part of the nomination process. Grassley cited a Bloomberg Business Week investigation that found a chemical, Avantor Inc., makes acetic anhydride, which is was easily tapped by narcotics gangs. Now, let me talk about this for a minute, because this is how propaganda works. Basically, this person has been nominated to be in the Justice Department by Joe Biden, and they needed to find some way to destroy her reputation. So what did they do? Her father, I think, is somehow loosely linked to this company that makes acetic anhydride. Acetic anhydride is an extremely common chemical that's used in all kinds of chemical labs for all kinds of different things. It's not just drug manufacturing. There's all kinds of stuff. Basically, all it is vinegar with no water in it. That's the anhydride part. Vinegar is acetic acid. That's its actual chemical name. Acetic acid, usually diluted to 6% with water. Acetic anhydride is vinegar with no water in it. It's used for all kinds of different shit. But making heroin is actually really, really straightforward. All you have to do is take morphine and vinegar, or preferably acetic anhydride, put it together, bake it in an oven for 8 hours, and you're done. That's it. Depending on the purity of the acetic acid or the acetic anhydride and the morphine and a number of different things, it will come out to different variations of it. But this is what the Republican Party, and to a lesser extent the Democrat Party, this is what they do. They create propaganda to attack somebody. When they can't find anything legitimate to hit them over, they'll find something illegitimate to do it over. This woman was loosely connected to a guy, her dad, I think, who was loosely connected to this company that makes chemicals for laboratories. And one of these laboratories manufactures vinegar that doesn't have water in it. So how do we take that and how do we spin it? How do we make her the villain here? Well, we'll point out that vinegar is used in the production of heroin, and boom, she's helping drug cartels in Mexico. That simple. That is how the Republican Party, and like I said, to the lesser extent, the Democrat Party, propagandize to people. Suddenly, everybody thinks that she's a dirty politician because she's helping cartels make drugs. It's complete bullshit. She had an investment in a chemical company that produces vinegar that has no water. That's it. Anyway, let's keep reading. After the article was published last August, Avantor said it stopped all Mexican and Latin American sales of the chemical, even though they don't have to, because just because you're selling to these countries doesn't mean that you're selling directly to cartels. But they said they stopped all sales of it to these countries, and it said it sold only to authorized buyers and complied with all Mexican laws. Good enough for me. It's just vinegar with no water. Gupta said she was aware of Bloomberg's findings and that in addition to selling shares she controls, she's previously proposed the trustee of shares in two family trusts intends to sell off the Avantor stock at the first available opportunity. Quote, as a shareholder with no role in Avantor, I am not able to say whether and how much I have profited from the various parts of Avantor's business, she told Grassley. Gupta said in other answers to the Judiciary Committee that she's about $5.1 million in Avantor-derived assets she controls and about $13 million via the two family trusts that she doesn't control. Andrew Bates, a spokesman for President Joe Biden's transition, said about $3.75 million of the $5.1 million she controls was a cash distribution from a family trust from previous Avantor holdings. All of this is basically going through and trying to break it down and explain exactly how much she owns of it and how much she may have profited from this thing and that thing and blah, blah, blah. This is honestly like saying, hang on. Heard a door outside and I got paranoid. This is honestly like saying, I'm trying to think of a really good analog here. This is like saying a company who makes concrete cleaner, like for pressure washing and stuff like that, a company who like helps people clean patios. If I owned stock in one of those companies, they would come after me for helping meth manufacturing. It's just completely like outside the realm of reasonability. There's nothing reasonable about this argument at all. It's just waterless vinegar. That's all it is. And it's one of many companies that produces vinegar that doesn't have any water in it. This is how propaganda is manufactured and pushed out to people. Watch for this kind of thing in the news in the future because it happens constantly.